Today's Senate Judiciary Committee hearing was anything but routine. Senator John Kennedy's relentless questioning of judicial nominees exposed sharp divisions on race, free speech, and affiliations with organizations like the ABA and ACLU. These exchanges weren't just political theater. They revealed the deeper battles shaping America's legal system.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Sheriff, I'm a little confused by some of the answers, but let me ask Senator Badia's question a different way. In choosing a law clerk, do you believe that a law clerk applicant's race should be used to harm that person?
Neither to harm nor benefit, Senator. I believe that applicants should be considered based on their background and experience.
So you don't think a person's race should be used to harm them?
Correct, Senator.
You think a person's race should be used to help them?
Not in that context, Senator, no.
Okay. Raise your hand, please, for me if you're a dues-paying member of the American Bar Association. So 2 out of 6 are members. Judge Bessert, why aren't you a member?
Senator, I was a member for many years of the American Bar Association.
Why'd you get out?
Honestly, Senator, when I was a member, my law firm paid the dues.
Yeah.
And so I don't pay the dues for the American Bar Association, but I was very involved.
Find it irrelevant and not worth the money?
No, sir. As you know from my record, I actually co-chaired the section of litigation for a number of years, and I thought it was very beneficial as a lawyer.
But it wasn't important enough to you to pay yourself?
It wasn't so much that, Senator. It's just that many of the benefits of the American Bar Association, at least for judges, I'm already participating in what the administrative offices provide with training, which is really what I was doing as a lawyer.
So it was beneficial to you if somebody else paid for it?
No, sir. It's just that as a lawyer, I used it primarily for legal education.
Okay.
And as a judge...
I don't want to spend too much time on this. Just for the record, 2 out of 6 of our nominees today have chosen to be dues-paying members of the American Bar Association. Sheriff, how long have you been a member of the ACLU?
Senator, I believe I first contributed in 2019.
And how much money have you given them?
I believe it's approximately $100, $120. A year, I'm sorry.
A year?
Yes.
Okay. And why did you first decide to contribute to them?
Senator, I contribute to
just briefly
charitable organizations. They work on First Amendment issues.
Now, you're a member of the ACLU of Southern California.
That's correct.
All right. A couple years ago, the ACLU of Southern California put out a statement. They said that U.S. policing has, quote, historical roots in slave patrols, close quote. And the ACLU chapter of Southern California went on to say that police presence has, quote, devastating and discriminatory impacts on tens of thousands of California students, close quote. You agree with that?
Senator, I'm not familiar with that letter. I have never seen that letter.
But I just read it to you. You agree with what that letter said?
I don't have information relevant to that.
You don't agree with it, or you do agree with it?
I can talk to my experience in law enforcement.
No, sir, I'm asking you if you agree or disagree with the statement of an organization that you chose to join.
Right, Senator.
As an assistant United States attorney.
I understand, Senator. I would have to know a lot more about where that comes from in order to evaluate it.
Well, you're not doubting that I'm reading it to you accurately, are you?
No, I'm not, but I don't know what the basis for that information is.
The ACLU of Southern California also put out another statement. They said, quote, ICE is not welcome here, close quote. Do you agree with that statement?
Senator, nearly 20 years in my practice in the Eastern District of California, the office has worked closely with ICE.
Do you agree with that statement?
Certainly, in terms of federal law enforcement, ICE is welcome, and we work closely with...
Maybe I'm not being clear. Do you agree or disagree with the statement that ICE should be welcome in California?
I believe that ICE carries out a legitimate function under federal law.
I understand. Give me one more minute, Chairman. Let me ask Mr. Leibowitz. I want to ask you... It's a constitutional question. I think we now understand that there's some people in America, and I dare say many of our college students and college professors, who believe, my words, not theirs, but this is what I see, who believe in diversity, equity, inclusion, and the right to kill Jews. To what extent is that point of view protected by the Constitution, and what, if any, limits are there on that point of view?
Senator, I very much appreciate the question, especially the times that we're living in. First, as your former colleague and now the president of one of the great universities in this country, the University of Florida, said that the First Amendment gives people the absolute right to be abject moral idiots. And Senator Ben Sasse, now President Sasse.
So does the Senate.
So I take part of your question that since October the 7th, I think part of what you are saying is that people are taking full advantage of their First Amendment rights. And the basic dividing line in answering your question, as I understand the court's precedents and the First Amendment, is that there's a very big difference between speech and conduct. There's a very big difference between things like Title VI, Title VII.
Let me stop you because I don't want to go too far over.
Yes.
I think you've made the correct distinction between speech and conduct. If I could have just 30 more seconds. Could the U.S. Department of Education, if a college professor crosses that line between speech and conduct, could President Biden's Department of Education withhold their federal funding?
Senator, I'm going to only be able to quickly answer part of your question. First of all, I do believe that part of the way you phrased it, I'm precluded from answering it because of the canons of judicial ethics, because there are live cases now and live statements now, as I understand it. There are live cases being brought under federal law tracking exactly what you're saying, and I'm not sure if the President's Department of Education wants to weigh into that or not, but if they did and that case came before me, I wouldn't want my comments today to be viewed as prejudging them.
Thank you.
Kennedy zeroed in on a core issue. Should race ever be a factor in hiring law clerks? Nominees made their stance clear. Judgment should rest solely on qualifications and experience, not skin color. This exchange highlighted the ongoing national divide over fairness, merit, and affirmative action. Next, Kennedy turned to the American Bar Association. Only 2 of 6 nominees admitted to being dues-paying members. One nominee, pressed on why he left the ABA, explained it wasn't worth paying for personally once his firm stopped covering costs. Kennedy's sharp cross-examination painted a picture of skepticism toward the ABA's value and influence. Kennedy's questioning of nominee Sheriff dug into his ties to the ACLU. Sheriff confirmed yearly donations, but when confronted with the group's claims linking policing to slave patrols and calling IC unwelcome in California, he dodged. The back and forth revealed the political landmines nominees face when their affiliations clash with controversial statements. Shifting to nominee Liowitz, Kennedy asked where free speech ends and dangerous conduct begins. Liowitz drew a clear line. The First Amendment protects even offensive or idiotic opinions, but conduct crosses into punishable territory. This exchange reflected the broader struggle between protecting liberty and maintaining order in today's polarized climate. These hearings are about more than individual nominees. They reveal how America's legal institutions, whether law schools, bar associations, or advocacy groups, are battlegrounds for ideology. Kennedy's questions made one thing clear. The fight over the law is also a fight over the future of the country. Backhand index pointing right if you want more sharp breakdowns of the debates shaping America. Make sure to click the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's next. Senator Kennedy's interrogation forced nominees to either defend their principles or dodge accountability. Race, free speech, and institutional influence, these aren't abstract debates.